Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Support for the community programming provided by the Dunkin' Donuts Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. Good morning, Westfield. It is 6 o'clock. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. And you're watching cable channel 15, WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer.
You switched mics on me. That's fine.
This is the one that was here. This is the one that was all set up for me. So
okay,
I wasn't
they must
sure.
have used that yesterday then.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm not sure why. And I think I'm going to switch them when we take a break because I feel like this one is really stretched all over the place.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go back to the other one.
They taped the Dan Knapik show yesterday.
Oh, how did that go? Was that his first one or
no? It's like his third.
Oh, it's third. Okay.
But I wasn't here. I was homesick yesterday.
Oh, yeah. So I know. So Pete. Okay. So first of all,
again.
Yeah, again. And you were really, really trying to avoid this.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, all right, I could beat this cold, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it just wouldn't go away, and I heard a little bit of wheezing when I was laying down.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? My wife's like, you got to go.
Yeah.
Because this could just get worse.
Yep. Yeah. No, you can't take chances.
So I went to the urgent care, and it ended up being the same lady that saw me the last time.
And she said, hey, Pete, how you feeling?
She's like, well, okay, so good news, bad news. Good news is it's not as bad as the last time.
Okay.
Because I'm not hearing a ton of it, and I'm only hearing it in one lung.
Okay.
So she goes, you did the right thing by coming early.
Yep.
She's like, I want to confirm with a chest x-ray, but our x-ray tech didn't show up today.
Okay.
She's like, but the treatment is the same no matter what. So off you go, and, here's your prescription, and go home and rest.
Yeah.
So I had nothing on the calendar but the Dan Knapik show, and Kenny said he could do that. So
perfect.
I stayed home yesterday and just slept a good portion of the day.
There you go.
So I do feel better today.
Good. Well, I'm glad.
I'm like, seriously?
I know.
Seriously?
And we're so close to the end of the winter too, Pete. It's just like, we're almost at the finish line.
I did the parade on Sunday.
Yep.
And I tried to stay in the truck because I was still like,
Who was driving the truck? I thought you.
Me.
You were driving it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so
Brady was in the past, so
yeah.
I just stayed with the truck and just kept the heat on.
Yep.
And I did a little socializing, and then people end up coming to me because I'm driving a billboard.
Yes, absolutely. Well, the funny thing was that I was flipping around between women's basketball, men's basketball, and the parade. And by some miracle, when I flipped, I don't know, the second or third time to the parade, it was Westfield. But I think I missed the beginning of Westfield. So were you at the beginning? Because I
was right behind the politicians.
So I didn't see them. I saw when I tuned in, it was the police department. So I saw police, I saw fire, I saw the Sons of Aaron, I saw the Colleen and the float.
Yep.
So that's when I came in. It must have been the float and then police and then fire and then whatever else. And I was like, oh, I missed the truck.
Yeah, because the band was right behind us.
Yeah, I didn't see the band. But I'll have to. I'll catch it.
I think you can see it on streaming.
I would think so too.
They have it up there.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I would think so too. And here's the funny thing. So I'm flipping around. Of course, I didn't see the very beginning. So I'm listening to the commentators, and I'm going, that voice sounds awfully familiar to me.
Oh, yeah, you didn't know?
No. And so Grace comes in the room, and I say, Grace, does that sound like Patrick Barry to you? And Grace goes, Mom, that is 100% absolutely Patrick Barry. And I said, I didn't know. So I texted him later on that evening, and I said, I thought he did a great job. And I said, is this your first time? Because it didn't sound like his first time. And then I saw Mimi Barry, his wife, was at the senior center to pick something up the other day. And she said, he had, it was his first time. And he said he had just pages and pages of stuff, there was like a whole book that, because people submit what they want you to say.
Right, yeah, we had to do all that, yep.
Yeah, so he said, lots of stuff to read. And he said sometimes it was hard because it wasn't a large contingency, but they gave you like 3 pages to read. Well, you got to read fast.
Edit on the fly.
Yeah, exactly, edit on the fly.
It's funny because I didn't submit a lot for ours. I just did the basics.
Yeah.
And while they were interviewing the parade marshal for Westfield.
Okay.
While we were coming by, and so they finished the interview, and poof, there we are, full screen.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, my friend," we're listening to it in the truck because we're listening to the stream. Oh, my friends from Westfield, WCPC and 107.5.
Nice.
So he didn't give us a huge shout out, but he gave us the proper one. And
Yes.
he says, I think I could see Brady LePage in the driver's seat waving to us.
Oh, that's funny. So Grace said, Mom, I feel so badly. She goes, it seems like every year they have a decent day for the road race and then not a good day for the parade.
See, I've been there where so people have said we were there when it was sleeting and it couldn't make up its mind. And then I've been there one or two times over the years where it was like 70 and sunny.
Oh, when I was pregnant with Grace, we marched with. I used to march with the West Springfield Rotary Club, as you know, because Gary was in the Rotary Club, and we would, the wives would march and everything, and the husbands, whoever, the spouses. And the year I was pregnant with Grace, I didn't march because I was literally 8.5 months pregnant.
Right, yeah,
when they
not a
did
good
this
idea,
parade.
yeah.
Yeah, not a good idea. But I went, and Gary's parents were with me, and there are pictures of me pregnant in just a long sleeve shirt. It was like 65, 68 degrees.
Yeah.
It was absolutely gorgeous, sunny. It was beautiful. We were all wearing sunglasses. We all got sunburn on our face because it was so warm.
Right. So I've been there for both because over the years, there was a couple of years I did it when I worked at Channel 40. I drove the live truck. A couple of years with emergency management where I drove the cruiser.
Yep.
I've never marched it, but I've driven vehicles.
It's fun to march it. I enjoyed marching it.
The vehicles are fun too because you can really get more of a view. You can't jump out and talk to people.
Yes.
But Brady kept getting they kept heckling Brady. It was funny as hell.
Poor Brady.
He's like, why are you not getting anything? I says, because I'm just smiling and waving.
Yeah, exactly. I've just been here for a while. Brady's the new guy.
I'm just smiling and waving. And I said, I don't know what he was doing, but he was just funny as hell.
Oh.
And then he jumped out, like, when we got past the Channel 22 area, around the turn on Appleton Street, he jumped out and filmed the Westfield contingent for me.
Oh, nice.
And then his mom was around the corner, so he was, like, hanging out with her for a little bit, and then he caught up to me down the bottom of Appleton Street.
Nice.
I was afraid I was going to have to find you in
Yeah,
Holyoke.
right, exactly. Like, wait, where did you go? Where did you go?
I was like, I was hoping that you saw your mom, and if you decided to stay, you were going to text me and say, hey, Mom will give me a ride to my car or something.
Right. Yeah. Oh, well, I wish the weather were better, but it's always, it's always a good time. And as I said, I thought Patrick, who was doing it with Patrick? Who was the female? I didn't.
She was on the parade committee. She's a former parade committee president, I think. The Holyoke parade
She
committee.
did a nice job too. I mean,
she's
I thought they
done
did a great job.
Couple of years.
Yeah, has she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's done it a couple of years.
Well, it was, it is March Madness, so it was insane in our house because I'm trying to get things done, and so I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I've got men's basketball, women's basketball, the parade, we're back and forth.
I watched UConn distribute a beatdown on somebody.
The women?
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
it was like
Syracuse.
they were up like 30 or something.
Yeah, it was
Syracuse.
Syracuse. Yeah, no, I know. We saw it.
Beat the crap out of them.
I know.
Like,
I know.
cow.
But there were some real buzzer beaters on the guys' side. Well, there were a couple on the women's side too, but there were more on the men's side.
And surprises too.
Yes, there were a few surprises. And James Jordan from Veteran Services and I are, big enthusiastic fans at this time of the year. And so, we're texting back and forth. And then, of course, Monday morning I come in and we have to, after we're doing AARP taxes. So as soon as I got all those people squared away and settled in, I said, okay, James, we have to review the weekend. So we did that. And so we're having a lot of fun with it. It's just a lot of fun. Kathy Millis, I think, is in a couple pools. So she's been, chiming in. And
my bracket is in tough shape.
Yeah. Well, James is doing really well. He's in 3 pools, and he's doing very well in his. He's on the money for most of them.
My thing is I'm ranked 10th now, but I'm looking at the potential points, and I still am in the top 5 in potential points.
Yeah, you can kind of catch up as you go, along, depending on when you had people eliminated. And of course, with March Madness, it's really all about predicting the upsets. That's where you.
Yeah, this year I thought I was doing okay, and it was like.
Well, here's my story on the women's side. This had nothing to do with so much the score of the game, although this was actually a game that went into overtime. But I was watching the TCU Washington game, and it was a late game. It was on way later than I should have stayed up. But I got caught up in it, and it went into overtime. I'm like, please don't go into overtime. No, I got to go to bed. But here was the thing: they played it at TCU. I said to James, he didn't see the game. I said, you don't have to see the game. Google TCU versus Washington in the NCAA tournament, and just look at the gym floor that they played on. So they were playing at TCU, and Pete, quite honestly, I couldn't play on this floor. It was like the color was like an ice blue, like a powder blue diamond pattern. It looked like an ice skating rink. And so when I turned it on, I was like, what is that?
So I've seen something now. I saw a video, and I showed my wife this, and because she didn't believe me, is they've created an LED floor now that has the same grip as a regular wood floor.
Okay.
And they can change the entire floor at the drop of a hat, and it's fully measured and everything because it's all digital. But they can display videos on the entire court, but they also they can change it on the fly. So, like, you can go to a commercial break and come back from the break, and there'd be a different floor with different logos and stuff like that on it.
I don't know.
Quickly he did it.
Well, I don't know how this all went, but all I can tell you is I found it really distracting and I don't know how they played on it because I don't know where you are on the court. I didn't like it at all. That was my take on it. It's pretty, but I don't think it was functional. And Jay was telling me that some other school had done something similar and got a lot of complaints from the visiting teams who said it was just really distracting to play on, and they felt that it was a disadvantage. And I kind of felt the same way. But anyway,
wait till the TV networks are going to start demanding the video floor you watch.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that they will, Pete.
It's not about the schools; it's about the TV and how it looks on TV.
And how does it look? Yep, I get it. Well, anyway, this was very strange. So
the left side of my bracket's doing far better than the right side of my bracket.
All right. Well,
but
at least you got one side that's doing okay.
I didn't have St. John's going this far.
Now, did you have High Point?
I had him going.
Did you have High Point as an upset in the first round? See, I said to Jay, and Jay did, and I was hoping they would go one more round, and they were close, and then they just lost steam at the end. They played Arkansas in the second round, and
I had Kansas beating St. John in the second round, and I was wrong about that. I was surprised.
Yeah.
And that was a buzzer beater, so that could have went either way.
Yeah, it was a good game. Exactly. That was a good game.
Yeah.
There were some really tight buzzer beater games, and I love those. Those are just so exciting.
So Coach and I will have a lot to talk about.
You will, and you are heading to Indianapolis, right?
Yep.
Yep.
We may not get into any of the games, but we're going to be talking to a lot of coaches out there.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be so fun.
And probably a few fans along the way too.
Yeah. So. Oh my gosh, you'll definitely. Yeah, the fans will want to give you an opinion, I'm sure.
Yep.
Oh, so fun. So that's great. And so this weekend, you had the parade. You didn't have to work, did you?
I worked in Holyoke on Saturday.
Oh, you did. You worked on Saturday.
Yep. Well, they're short staffed. They have a guy. One of the guys is take care of his dad in Florida.
Yes, I remember you said
services,
that. Yeah.
So he's still trying to get that all sorted, and he's still in Florida. So
okay.
We've been trying to cover shifts.
All right.
And then somebody went down with emergency appendicitis.
Oh my gosh.
One of the part-timers.
I
finally got to meet her because she came back. So she was still sore from the surgery, but she's like, I can do this. This isn't that big of a deal. I'm like, if you're in pain, if there's any time at this point you're in pain, go home.
Yep, for sure. Oh my goodness. All right. Well,
I was like, well, this is life.
It is. Well, I was on Saturday. I totally forgot to mention this last week. So Carol Palmer and I are doing the Ghost Talks again this year. Knox's Noble Train. So our performance dates are coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday, 6 and 7:30 p.m. on both evenings.
Yep.
At the First Congregational Church, which is the big church right on the town square. Tickets are $10. They can be purchased at the Westfield Athenaeum or at the door the night of. And this is presented by the Westfield Historical Commission. And I love the script this year. I think it's a good script. I think it's really meaty. And I love my part. I play a citizen from Saratoga because this is the train getting the cannons and ammunition from Fort Ticonderoga out to Boston.
Right.
And they kind of came down through Saratoga and Albany. Carol is the Albany citizen. I'm the Saratoga citizen. And then, through the hill towns, through Westfield. And so you've got all of us playing all these different parts. But it's really a great script. I'm really enjoying this one. So I have my costume. Thank you to Kathy Palmer. Luckily, we're about the same size. Yeah, so that worked out really well. And, so Carol Palmer is in it. Kathy Palmer is in it. I'm in it. Teresa Alley and Mike and Kathy Knappich. And
Mike loves doing that stuff.
Oh, he's great. He's great, and he always plays a good part. And Rock Palmer is in it. So I was excited because I've never done anything with Rock before. I've done a couple things with Carol, but so we're excited about it. So please come. It's Friday and Saturday evening this weekend, 6 and 7:30 p.m. 2 performances each night. I think it's just a great historical. Jay will be doing the lighting. Jay Pagluca, of course, will be there doing the lighting. So that's that. All right. It is 6:16. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching WCPC Cable Channel 15. It is Retire the Fire Month at, throughout Westfield and especially at the Senior Center. So we are going to be doing some fire safety when we come back. We're going to bring that in with Sanford Townsend Band singing Smoke from a Distant Fire. We'll be back.
When I realized the reality gave me a roll. If things are the same, then explain why your kiss is so cold. And that mist in your eyes feels like rain on the vine in my soul. This lying and crying's upsetting.
Support for community programming provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. Visit bettsplumbing.com or 14 Coleman Avenue, Westfield. Public welcome.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:20. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
So it is Retire the Fire month. We do retire the fire all year long, 12 months a year, 52 weeks a year, 365 days, but we really focus on it during the month of March. So first of all, I want to do a shout out to Chris Mazza and the Westfield News for publishing. Last week, they published a series of articles that I wrote on fire safety and fall prevention for older adults in the city. And so I thank them for partnering. I mean, that was a partnership that we started, the Council on Aging started with the Westfield News many years ago, more than 12 years ago. I think we're on our 13th year now, when Patrick Berry owned the paper. And, the Republican, when they took over, didn't necessarily have to continue that, but they did. And I really appreciate that because I think that it's a great service. And we've gotten good feedback on the information that was in the articles. So thank you to Chris and the Republican and the Reminder and all of that from the Westfield News. I also want to thank both Pete and Harry Rock for this month's Westfield Council on Aging Presents segment. It was on Retire the Fire, resources for Westfield's older adults. And we really covered a plethora of information that we have at the Senior Center. It's located right in the Fireside Lounge. So, you can literally walk in the front door, just walk straight back through the Fireside Lounge, and there's just a whole section of information with all different flyers. And, we've covered some of them on air this month as we've gone through. We're going to cover a couple more topics this morning. But all of that and then some is located. And so thank you to the two of you for helping me to spread that word. So today I want to talk, this morning, I want to talk a little bit about preventing electrical fires, which to me are scary fires. Electricity is powerful. It's a powerful energy source, and you really need to treat it with caution. In Massachusetts, electrical fires are among the top 3 causes of fire deaths, and they result in dozens of injuries and millions of dollars in damage. And some things about electrical fires are more obvious. And when we go through this list, I think you'll be able to say, oh, yeah, I got to pay attention to that. Some of them are a little less so, and that's what makes it a little bit scary. But electric current is the power running along wires in our home, and that generates heat as it travels. So the size of the cord or the wire can carry only so much electricity before it starts to overheat and heat up. So you need to be really careful about overdoing it when you're trying to, create too much power and too much electricity through those wires. They can only hold so much. So let's look at a few different things. So first of all, extension cords and power strips. So first of all, extension cords and power strips are really for temporary use only. And the more electrical cords you connect together, the more trouble spots you have. So every time you connect a cord to an extension cord, a regular cord from the appliance to the extension cord, you're creating a spot where that's actually considered a trouble spot. And some people, connect extension cord to extension cord to extension cord. So that's kind of a recipe for disaster. There are some potential warning signs and hazards that you should absolutely be aware of and do not ignore and say, I think this is fine. So first of all, short circuits, sparks, if you start seeing sparks or arcs, if you hear a buzzing or a sizzling sound coming from the wires, okay, that's a problem. Or anything that smells. And you can, you'll know that, like you'll smell that electrical fire kind of smell. So if there's an odor, just a vague smell of something burning, look for it because that's definitely a sign. If it's something that's inside the wall, Firefighters can use thermal imaging technology so that they can see if there's excessive heat inside the walls. And that's actually what happened about a year and a half ago. We had an electrical fire up at Hampton Village. And the woman whose house burned down, and it literally burned down,
Yep.
she is a regular at the senior center. She's just a lovely, lovely person, helps out so many people at Hampton Village. Thankfully, at the time, she was walking the dog, and so she was out of the building. She left to go walk the dog and came back, and her whole place was on fire. And it was an electrical fire, and it was in the wall, so it was nothing that she could see or know about.
You don't even smell it until it's already gone.
Until it's already there. So again, some of these things, she had no control over that really, but there are some of these other things you
You could
absolutely
do prevention, though.
Yes, yeah. And actually, one of the things that the Department of Fire Services recommends is that you have sort of an electrical inspection about every 10 years to just make sure that, all the stuff that you can't see is in good shape. If you have any of the following problems, you're going to want to call a licensed electrician. And Harry mentioned this when we did this segment, the Council on Aging Presents segment. If you keep tripping your circuits, or you have blown fuses, don't ignore that. Obviously that's happening for a reason. So get an electrician in there to look that over and figure out why that's happening.
Most houses are not designed for the number of electronic devices we have now.
Oh, absolutely. And here's the other thing, Pete. A lot of our seniors have aged in place. So their homes are also older. They're older, and so are their homes. And those homes, as you mentioned, Pete, were not designed to have the number of we didn't have all these appliances back in the 40s and 50s
You
and
had a
60s.
TV and a couple of lights.
Exactly. Now we've got washers and dryers and every kind of electronic thing that you can possibly think of. And, in the old days, you used to make your coffee on the stove. Well, now nobody makes coffee. I don't know of anybody that makes coffee on a stove. Everybody's got a coffee maker. What do you do with a coffee maker? You got to plug it in.
Yep.
You got a toaster oven. You got a microwave. You got a regular toaster. You've got blenders and cuisines and air fryers and, all space heaters and all of these things that we didn't used to have all of these electronics. So just as you said, Pete, our homes were really not designed with the electrical, capacity to deal with what we're trying to plug into today.
Yep.
So if your lights are dimming, if they're flickering, call an electrician. Overheated plugs, cords, or switches. If you have a shock when you go to, pull out or turn on a light switch, it's something more than just static electricity. If you've got loose plugs or unusually warm or faulty electrical outlets or switches, you want to get an electrician in there. Don't try to figure that out on your own. You want to look for some of these hazards around your house. Overloaded electrical outlets, that is more than one appliance cord plugged into one wall outlet. Cords that are pinched or behind furniture. Sometimes that happens really inadvertently. You plug in a lamp and you don't use an extension cord or anything, just plug in the lamp, that's fine. And then you go to move the furniture around. I found that even sometimes when I'm cleaning and I move the furniture out and I say, oh, this cord got kind of stuck behind something or under the carpet or pinched behind a dresser. So just check for that, because that you might not have done that. You probably didn't do it on purpose, but it might have just happened. It was inadvertent. It's like, oh, wait a second. Overloaded power strips. Power strips should only be used with a few low current devices, such as your electronics, like, plugging in your cell phone, recharging, things like that. But it shouldn't be used for, a space heater, a hair dryer, a refrigerator, the iron or anything like that. Lamps, this is another thing. Please be careful about this. Your lamps, right on your lamp, it's going to tell you what the wattage should be in the bulb. Do not use a wattage that's higher than what they recommend. So if they say this light is for a 160 watt bulb or 260 watt bulbs or 240 watt bulbs, those are the ones that you need to use. And I will say this, I know.
That's because the cords downwind of that are designed for that lower amperage.
Exactly. And if you get something, you try to put a 75 watt bulb in a 40 watt thing, you're overheating. I will tell you this: buying light bulbs is like it's like my nemesis these days. I hate it because they're new, they're different. But the plus side is if you
The
can
LED draws less power.
exactly, and you can get brighter light with less power. So I would suggest go to some place where they know light bulbs and they can help you. Because I've been doing that, just saying to them, listen, this is this lamp, I can put a 75 watt bulb in this lamp. What can I use that, and you can actually get some of these lights that'll give you more light than 75, but use less current. So yeah, so get some help with that, but check that, okay? Make sure that you have that. Again, electrical cords that you're running underneath rugs or carpet or furniture, you have to be really, really careful with that, because if they're under a rug on the corner where nobody's walking on it, that's one thing. But if you're running it, like across a room with an extension cord under an area rug, and people are walking, and that's again recipe for disaster. Any kind of cord with frayed wires. Or if it's cracked, if it's an old appliance and it's cracked, you've got to replace that cord. I mean, I had somebody who brought a fan in one time. Somebody in the games room. They were hot up there. So, I had a fan in my basement. I took one look at it and I said, no, that's not going up. I'm looking at the cord. It's all cracked. And I said, this thing is like ancient. Well, the fan still works. Yeah, I said, you're going to burn the whole senior center down. And don't use it at home because you're going to burn your house down. Either throw the thing out or, or get a new wire.
Yeah, because, if you're an electrician, you can always have an electrician or somebody replace the wire.
Oh, yeah. I've had wires replaced on lamps. My father-in-law was an electrician, and so was my brother-in-law. My father-in-law was a riot because he would replace these. Like I said to him, I gave him some dresser lamps years ago. I said, Dad, I need longer cords, so I don't have to use an extension cord. And these are getting they were old. So he said, okay, well, I don't know. He used like this really heavy duty. It's awesome. These lamps will last forever.
Right, and nowadays too, especially, you can find a YouTube video for just about anything.
Oh yeah.
And it's really not hard to replace that. I wouldn't do like wall switches on my own.
Yeah.
But I would place a cord on a lamp or something.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Let's see, what else? Cords and wire. Oh, this one. I can't believe that people do this, but they actually do, Pete. So cords and wires that are nailed into place. Hello? This can cause electrical shorts and arcing. I wouldn't believe it, except that I've seen it myself. You don't nail through wires. Oh my goodness. And here's the last one. Indoor appliances and cords being used outdoors. So you have to be especially careful because, we're putting up our Christmas lights and all those decorations around the holidays. You've got to make sure that if you're using, extension cords or anything like that, outdoor use, not indoor ones that you're taking outside. Again, have your electrical system examined by a licensed electrician about every 10 years. And tips for preventing electrocutions and shocks: read and follow the instructions and safety tips provided with your electrical appliances and equipment. As Pete said, you're not plugging your refrigerator into a power strip. Be careful. It'll tell you exactly what you need. So especially with your larger appliances, your washer, your dryer, your refrigerator, your dishwasher, all that stuff.
Yep.
If you have children, toddlers, or babies in the home, make sure that you're installing the plastic safety covers when you have an outlet that's not used to protect children from shock hazard. And they've got really good ones now that they didn't have in the old days, where you can plug them in, you put them into the plug, and there's like a piece on the bottom that because once you plug those in, some of them are really hard to get out of there. But this has like a little piece that you just pull down, and then it flips out and you can just pull it out. You can, an adult can, a toddler's not going to be able to figure that out. Well, at least mine hasn't figured it out so far. And obviously keeping your electrical appliances and cords away from water. So all of those things to be really careful of. I think electrical fires are they're scary, and they happen fast. And so be extra, there are some things where you don't have a lot of control over it, but all of those things we do have control over. And, the other thing too is remember that if you are living in an older home, you may, because the older homes didn't have, you can walk into a room, it's got like 2 outlets in the whole room. Some of them only have 1. So, it may be worth the investment. You can get more outlets put in. You obviously have to hire an electrician to do that. It's not cheap, but it may be worth it if you're finding that. Let's put it this way, folks. It's probably worth it rather than having your house burned down, just because you're overloading 1 or 2 outlets with all the stuff that you possibly need in one room. So consider that as well. All right, it is 6:35. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. And of course, my cheat sheet blew to the floor. So hold
Beautiful
on.
sunrise out there, by the way. You want me to
I
give you
can't
this
see
one?
I can't see it from me. Where are you seeing this?
I'm seeing it in the green camera
Oh, okay.
because it's rising the other way.
Okay, I was going to say because I'm seeing nothing over here.
Yep, you'll see it in a minute.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to take a short break. And today is, we're still doing Retire with the Fire. We're going to listen to Bastille singing Things We Lost in the Fire. We'll be back.
Things we lost to the flames. Things we'll never see again. All that we have amassed sits before us, shattered into ash. These are the things we lost, the things we lost in the fire, fire, fire. These are the things we lost, the things we lost in the fire, fire, fire. We sat and made a list of all the things that we had down the backs of tabletalks, ticket stubs in your diaries. I read them all one day when loneliness came and you were away. Oh, they told me nothing new, but I love to read the words you use. These are the things we lost, the things we lost in the fire, fire, fire. These are the things we lost, the things we lost in the fire, fire, fire. I was the match and you were the rock. Maybe we started this fire. We sat apart and watched all we had burn on the pyre. You said we were born with nothing and we sure as hell have nothing now. You said we were born with nothing and we sure as hell have nothing now. These are the things we lost, the things we lost in the fire, fire, fire. These are the things we lost, the things we lost in the fire, fire, fire. Do you understand that we will never be the same again? Do you understand that we will never be the same again? The future's in our hands and we will never be the same again. The future's in our hands and we will never be the same again. These are the things we lost, the things we lost in the fire, fire, fire. These are the things we lost, the things we lost in the fire, fire, fire. Tenderly they turn to dust, all that I adored.
Support for community radio provided by Westfield Electroplating. Employing over 140 skilled platers, painters, and technicians, Westfield Electroplating was founded in 1946 and was the first company in the country to achieve National Aerospace and Defense Contractor Program accreditation, proudly maintaining that status for over a decade. Westfield Electroplating provides over 50 quality finishes to meet your corrosion, cosmetic, or performance needs. On the web at www.westfieldplating.com or 413-568-3716. Westfield Electroplating, putting the finishing touches on technology.
Where will the superintendent spotlight shine next? Join Stefan Zaporowski and Chris Rogers every Thursday at 9 a.m. to find out. 107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:40. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
You're right. That was a lovely sunrise. Once you flipped out and we could see it on the green, it's beautiful.
Yep.
So yay, we've got sun coming today. If you're just tuning in, we are reviewing some of the Retire the Fire pieces of the segment that we did on the Westfield Council on Aging Presents. And I want to finish up the month with cooking fire and burn safety because we all eat. So if nothing else, we're all doing meal preparation, even if we don't do a lot of cooking, but most of us do at least some cooking. So here are a few cooking safety tips and meal preparation safety tips from the Department of Fire Services. So first of all, if you have a grease fire on your stove, you want to smother it. You don't want to use a fire extinguisher. You don't want to use water on it. So if there's a lid or a pan, put a lid on it. That's the mantra of the fire department is put a lid on it. You want to smother it. Turn off the heat source, smother it, put a lid on it. Baking soda will also work. Call the fire department. Get out, call the fire department. You don't want to move a burning pan. That is first of all, you're going to spread the fire, and second of all, you're going to get hurt or injured. So don't move a burning pan. Again, you don't want to use water or a fire extinguisher on a grease fire because what you're going to do is just splatter it, and that just increases. First of all, it's not going to put it out, and second of all, it's going to increase the chances that you're going to get seriously injured from hot grease. Stand by your pan. That's another mantra of DFS, Department of Fire Services. Don't leave anything cooking on the stovetop unattended. Now, if you're making a stew or a soup and you're simmering something, that's fine. You just want to check it periodically. Oh, excuse me. Losing my voice here. Not good.
Well, there's a cold going around for sure.
Yeah, I feel fine, but I just keep losing my voice. All right, You want to wear you don't want to wear loose clothing, especially if you have a gas stove, anything that can catch on fire. So short sleeves, tight sleeves when you're at the stove. If you want to also keep your pot handles turned inward, not out that you can accidentally walk by the stove and, knock into them. Please, 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 if you're cooking with children or pets, you want to keep a 3-foot radius clear. So this is especially important. So you're not tripping over them, so they're not accidentally falling into the stove or the oven. Keep combustible objects like pot holders, towels, bags, packaging away from your heating elements. And again, sometimes it's obvious. If you have your pot holders and they're hanging right over your stove, not a good idea. Hang them someplace else. If you have your towel, your dish towel and your hand towel hanging from your oven door, not a good idea. Move it. But sometimes things are just, you've got a counter right near the stove. and something, you opened up a package or a box of noodles or whatever, and it's close to the stove and you don't really realize it. So sometimes it's just inadvertent and you just need to be more focused and pay more attention to that. If you have a fire inside the microwave, just shut the microwave off. Keep the door closed. Get out and call 911. Obviously, don't put metal in your microwave. Excuse me. And you don't want to store things in your oven. I had a friend who used to store the pots and pans that she didn't use very often in her oven because she didn't use it that often. But when you do use it, you forget that they're in there. So you need to be careful with that. All right, we're going to take a break so I can get a cough drop and some water. And when we come back, we are going to talk. Today is this month is National Optimism Month. We're going to talk about that. But we're going to listen to Three Little Birds by Bob Marley and the Wailers. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM, and you're watching Cable Channel 15 WCPC. We'll be back.
This morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds, it's by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing.
Underwriting for community radio is provided by the YMCA of Greater Westfield. Every day, the YMCA strengthens the community through programs and services focused on youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. For all the Y's many programs and services, visit us on the web at www.westfieldymca.org. The YMCA, 67 Court Street in downtown Westfield. We're more than a gym. We're a cause.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM, WSFD.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:50. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you're watching WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board and our chief engineer, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
So March is National Optimism Month, and it's a time of excitement. Contrary to common belief, it is possible to recondition mundane patterns and habits and turn them into positive and optimistic moments. The best part is that once optimism is channeled inwardly, great benefits follow outwardly. Well, what is optimism exactly? Well, the word refers to hopefulness, confidence about the future, and the success of something. People often wonder whether optimistic people have a cheery outlook on life because they haven't faced setbacks and upheavals. Or maybe they're confident and happier simply because they don't have any problems to worry about. Well, research debunks these statements with a view that optimistic people are generally content because of their persistent optimism, which creates benefits such as health, vitality, and ultimately happiness. This viewpoint is really fantastic because it means that anyone can avail the rewards of optimism simply by changing their perspective. And it also means there is a cycle. Optimism comes with benefits that make one happy, leading to more optimism. Optimism also brings with it success in the world as well as in one's personal domains, such as physical and emotional health. The demanding nature of our daily routines leaves us stressed out and fatigued. Add to that the constant comparison with the lives and possessions of others, spending too much time online, making it easy to fall into pessimism. I don't have as much as they have. They're so much farther in their career than I am. We both went to school together, all of that comparison. So now is the time to start practicing optimism. It's not as simple as being positive and looking on the bright side, but that's a start. And the way to incorporate optimism into our lives will vary for everyone, so find what works best for you. Take a step back and consider everything that stresses you out, as well as reactions that can trigger stress, anger, and burnout. Reroute your actions, reactions, and habits optimistically and experience life like never before. And I love this quote. This is a quote from Winston Churchill. He once said, "A pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty." So there's your quote for the day. And, interesting, my brother, who lives down in Tennessee, he's a retired attorney, they actually have a club down there called the Optimist Club. And I don't know if that's a national organization, but Dave's belonged to it. It's a service organization, kind of like our Kiwanis or our Rotary. But he's belonged to the Optimist Club for years, and they have done amazing community service work in his town. So be a little optimistic. March is also National Craft Month. So admittedly, the word crafting covers, a whole lot of territory. There's a lot of stuff there. At one time, the word craft was synonymous with trade. Like we think of the trades, carpentry and electrician and seamstress and all of that, meaning skilled labor in a particular area, such as weaving, engine repair, or carpentry. It was not uncommon for guilds to be founded based upon a shared set of skills in these and other areas of production. But now, in current times, we've come to understand that crafting refers to those skills practiced more creatively and with a vision unique to each artisan. Some examples are knitting and crocheting, scrapbooking, leatherworking, wood burning, fly tying, jewelry making, anything created by hand that has an artistic aspect to it but is not strictly considered fine art.
Right.
There's no question that healthy people's lives include creative outlets, a way to express themselves constructively. That was a big part of the reason the Craft and Hobby Association, which is now called the Association for Creative Industries, established National Crafting Month back in 1994. The awareness raising was meant to help individuals discover their hidden creativity and introduce Americans to outlets they hadn't tried before, ranging from embroidery to candle making to any number of other crafts. Over the years, since National Crafting Month has also come to signify a time for practiced crafters to start on a new project, maybe try a new medium, or learn a skill that they've always been curious about. Having the freedom to create without boundaries stimulates both the imagination and the spirit. We may even gain the confidence to think outside the box in other realms of our lives, such as education, profession, and even relationships. And who knows, channeling those creative energies into one of your hobbies could even turn into a side career. That happens to a lot of people. Build businesses on the side. Whether it's creating something with your children or throwing a casual crafting dinner party, sharing one's imagination and creativity with others is a key reason why humans create. Not only is there another person or people there to appreciate your work, but you can spend quality time with friends and help each other with fun shared ideas. And handmade gifts are the best. There are few things that show how much you care as much as a gift from the heart and hands. Home-crafted gifts are one of a kind. Nothing tells your friend or relative how much they mean to you more than receiving something that you made only one of. On top of all that, homemade gifts are fun to make and can also save you a few bucks. So, National Craft Month. And I think that I love the fact that it's the month of March, even though this kept getting put to the back burner. And so we're at the end of the month. But, the winters could be so long, especially in New England. It really is a great time. And I had a woman, I have a woman in one of my support groups, and she took up I think it's called hand knitting or hand crocheting. I could not wrap my head around what this is, because you actually don't use knitting needles or a crochet hook. You use your fingers. So I said to her, Anne, she tried it. This was back in the fall, because she had some health issues and, wasn't as mobile as she had been for a while. So she had some time on her hands. Anyway, she took it up and taught herself. I think she did it, like, as you said before, Pete, through YouTube. YouTube can teach you anything just about. Yep. And anyway, so she's describing this to us. And so I said to her, would you bring in a sample? Because I just cannot get through my head, like, how you do this with your fingers. Yep. So she did. At the last meeting, she brought in a blanket that she made, which was absolutely gorgeous. She used it's called chunky yarn. It's this big, fat, chunky yarn, thick yarn.
So it's easy to manipulate with your fingers.
And then she brought in pieces of yarn for all of us to try it, and she showed us how you do it. It was absolutely fascinating, and she made all of her gifts for Christmas this year. She gave each of her. She has 3 sons. She gave each of her sons a blanket, and made them for other people. And I said to her, "What a great gift! I mean, and what it was. I'm amazed at what people can do." So lots of different outlets, and that one, you didn't even have to pay for any needles. So it's just the cost of the yarn. And as she said, you look for it on sale, buy it when it's on sale, put it away, and do your hand knitting or finger knitting. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, National Craft Month. Okay, let's do a few announcements before we take our top of the hour break. So tonight, today is March 25th, tonight at 7 o'clock, the Greater Westfield Community Band will be playing at the high school. Again, at 7 o'clock. They used to do this at 7:30, so please note the earlier time. Directed by Patrick Kennedy and Will Cho. Free admission, handicap accessible, bring a friend, enjoy the music. I think they do this semi-annually. I think they do one in the fall and one in the spring, and this is the spring one. Yeah, this is the spring one. So 7 o'clock, that's tonight. I announced it last week, so hopefully you put that on your calendar. I do want to announce, we'll make this announcement for the next month, but just to get you started, a lot of people have been asking about the document shred day that we do at the Senior Center, which again, we host it. We use our parking lot, and we kind of help them get things set up. But this is really CSF Westfield. This is part of their Dollars for Scholars scholarship fundraising program. They're the ones that actually host it and run it. They run it. We just provide the parking lot. It will be Saturday, April 18th. People have been asking, like, since January, are you going to do a shred day? Yes. Saturday, April 18th from 9 to 11, rain or shine. I'll make that announcement several more times. It will be in the April newsletter, which, by the way, is coming out this Saturday. But just so you can start getting those boxes of documents together. And then the Athenaeum is doing their book sale. Again, this will be the end of April, but they're going to be collecting books starting April 6th. So I think they're collecting donations April 6 to 11 and 13 to 18. And I'll give you all the times. This is, as we get a little closer, this flyer is up at in the Senior Center in a couple of different places. So if you're interested both in attending the book sale, which will be the end of April, but if you have books that you want to donate, this is a great time. Grace went through, because one of the things they're looking for is children's books. So Grace put together, excuse me, a nice package. All right, it is 7 o'clock. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You are watching cable channel 15, WCPC. We'll take a break.
Underwriting is brought to you by Boise Cascade Distribution, providing products and services needed for building material dealers, home improvement centers, and industrial customers. They offer everything from engineered wood and plywood to Drex decking and railing, James Hardie siding, and Advantech subfloor. Located at 33 Fowler Street Extension in Westfield and on the web at bc.com, they are committed to providing quality products, great service, convenience, and value.
Where will the superintendent spotlight shine next? Join Stefan Zaporowski and Chris Rogers every Thursday at 9 a.m. to find out. 107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:04. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and thankfully, I have Jen Jafune in here to help me. I don't know what. It's not like I don't have a cold. I'm not sick. I have allergies, but maybe they're just starting. I don't know. I've just had this raspy throat and coughing spell, and I feel like it's always dry in here too, so that's not helping. But anyway, Jen Jafune is a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist, joins us on the last Wednesday of the month for our Food for Thought segment. So in a bit, because we have some other announcements to do, and we have some other, I saved the nutrition or the food-related monthly observances until Jen got here. So we have to cover a couple of those. Yep. But then we're going to continue with our discussion from last month on these new federal guidelines, regulatory dietary guidelines that Jen's been working her way through. So there's a lot to cover. But March is National Peanut Month. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
Now, you probably know this. I did not. But here's a fun fact. Peanuts are not technically a nut. They're a legume.
Yep.
Legume? Is that how you put it? Legume?
I say legume.
Legume. The main difference is that peanuts grow underground rather than on a tree. Who knew? I didn't know that. Well, you did.
One of those weird things you learn in nutrition
Of
school.
course you do.
Right.
Nutritionally speaking, peanuts are similar to other nuts. This beloved food is a staple in many households, mine included, and for good reason. So peanuts are nutritious. They contain protein, fiber, healthy fats, and vitamins and minerals. Peanuts also contain antioxidants and can support heart health by helping to lower bad cholesterol levels. Because they are an affordable and nutrient-dense food, peanuts play an important role in nutrition across the globe. The recommended serving size for peanuts is 1 ounce. One serving of peanuts provides 160 calories. They are pretty high in calories.
But it's mostly heart-healthy fat. Okay. So you have to kind of
weigh that out. Okay.
Yes.
So 3 grams of protein, 14 grams of fat, 4 grams of fiber, which we've talked about the importance of fiber, and 6 grams of carbohydrates. So peanuts are high in calories and fat, so make sure that you watch your portion sizes, which we say that anyway about everything. Although rich in calories and fat, research has shown that peanuts may help maintain a healthy weight. This may be partly due to its fiber and protein content, which helps keep you feeling full. So we've talked about the importance of fiber with helping to keep you full. See, we're
fat
bringing
as well.
all this together.
Right.
Fat as well, okay. When purchasing peanuts, select plain unsalted for the greatest health benefit. And when purchasing peanut butter, which I know Jen has covered this, but I'm going to cover it again. Select natural peanut butter with no added sugar or oils. These added sugars and oils act as an emulsifier, meaning that they keep the peanut oil mixed with the peanut solids. But remember that it's fine if the oil separates. You just need to stir it up.
Yeah, don't throw it away. I have a lot of people who drain it off, and then I say to them, you just threw out all the heart-healthy fat, and now you have a new doorstop because
exactly.
you can't eat what's
it.
left.
I mean, it's just like taking peanuts and grinding them with no oil or anything.
Right.
Yeah, you need the oil. But you have to stir it.
You have to stir
Keep it in the refrigerator. Jen has suggested before, and I pay attention to what my guests say. Take it out a little bit before you want to use it. So it makes it easier to stir.
And if you don't keep it in the fridge, my thing now for the last few years is I take it out of the jar and put it in a Tupperware.
Yeah, a
that's
bigger
low
container.
And flat, so it's easy.
Right.
You can easily stir it, and we keep it in the back hall closet with the other.
And that's
pantry
okay. You
items.
don't have to. Okay.
No.
Good. All right. Peanuts aren't for everyone. Just remember that peanut allergy is one of the 9 most common food allergies, affecting approximately 1 to 2% of the United States population. Peanut allergy typically starts in childhood and continues throughout life. Interestingly, approximately 20% of individuals may actually outgrow their peanut allergy over time. So some people may be only mildly allergic with minor reactions, while others may be severely allergic with life-threatening anaphylactic shock. So you do need to be careful about that.
If you don't outgrow it by the age of 10,
You're not going
Not going to.
So according to this, it says for many years it was thought that avoiding peanuts in the first year of life would prevent peanut allergies. However, research has evolved and now shows that some food allergies can be prevented by actually giving small amounts of common food allergens, such as peanuts, to babies age 4 months or older. But obviously, you want to speak with your healthcare provider before you do anything like that. Don't do that on your own. And so enjoy peanuts all month long. So how can you celebrate this month? Well, you can try a new peanut recipe. You can make homemade peanut butter. Have you ever made homemade peanut butter?
I believe I have. When the kids were little, I'm sure I did.
I've never made it. Or enjoy a classic peanut butter cookie. Or spark a debate and talk about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and what is the best flavored jelly, how to cut the sandwich, and what is the perfect ratio of jelly to peanut butter. I'm sure that does spark some debate.
Actually, people, I never realized that was a thing, but it really is a thing, how much peanut butter and jelly goes on a sandwich. I have these conversations with people.
I absolutely believe that.
Yep.
Because when I was a kid, I had a friend and I used to be so jealous because her mother would make her peanut butter sandwiches for lunch to take to school. And my mother always made it peanut butter and jelly. But I wasn't a huge jelly fan. I just liked the peanut butter.
Right.
So, when I was old enough to make my own, I would really, there's a spider here.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching
Did you send it over to my way?
Well, it was headed your way. I was going to tell you at the break.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm not going to last till the break. Well, I don't know where it went. Anyway, yeah. So I used to, lather on the peanut butter and then just put this thin layer, like you could tissue paper jelly. And that was good for me. But yeah. But Gary lathers on the jelly when he makes a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah. So even though it may be National Peanut Month, I do want to say that if you don't like peanut butter or you're allergic to it, there are some really good options out there. There's almond butter, there's walnut butter, there's sunflower, which usually is sun butter. There's wow butter, which is soy
Never heard of it.
That's what I use because I'm allergic to all
Yes,
nuts.
I know you're,
So it's soy nut butter.
Okay.
And it literally is called wow. So,
okay. All right.
There are options. They all offer heart-healthy fats.
Okay.
So
what about protein? Are they the same?
they all have some protein at varying levels.
Varies.
The wow butter actually will have more protein than anything else because it's made from soybeans, which are a good protein source.
Now, what about? I'm just throwing this one out there because what about Nutella? Is it Nutella or Nutella? Or,
Nutella is hazelnut and chocolate.
Okay.
So hazelnuts have some heart-healthy parts. It's the chocolate that's sugared up. That's not necessarily.
And I don't think I've even ever tried it, but I see it. And, so, all right. Now March is also. We'll read this, then we're gonna take a break and play Jen's song, her special Sesame Seed rap song, Sesame Seed. I'm losing
I knew
it
what
today.
you meant.
Sesame Street healthy foods rap song. But before we do that, March is actually National Nutrition Month.
Yes, it is.
So celebrated every March since 1980. The goal of National Nutrition Month is to empower consumers to make informed food choices and develop, healthful eating and physical activity habits. The theme of this year's campaign is Discover the Power of Nutrition. Food and nutrients power everything we do, whether you're using brain power to learn a new skill or lesson, physical power to run, jump, play, compete, heal, or spend time in nature, or powering up for a new day with a good night's sleep, optimal nutrition is key. This National Nutrition Month, think about all the ways you can add enjoyable nourishment to your meals, snacks, and tasty bites. Jen, I feel like this is a summary of everything that we talk about, every month. Try a new recipe, fruit or vegetable, or cuisine from a new-to-you culture to expand your options at mealtime. And you know what? That's harder to do than people realize.
Hard to do.
I mean, not so much for me, not so much the trying a new recipe or fruit or vegetable, but you know what? Expanding my cultural thing, that's a little challenging because I find certain cultures especially have used certain spices.
Right.
And there are some spices that I'm fine with and some spices I just do not care for. And so I find that, like a culture that uses, a lot of one spice that I don't particularly like, that's challenging.
Well, and when I cook American food, I can go, I'm not adding that. I don't like that.
Right.
I'm going to substitute this.
Yes.
But when I'm making something, say, Middle Eastern, I'm like, I don't know what you substitute for fenugreek seeds.
Right.
I don't even know what those are.
Right.
Right. And so it takes a lot more effort, and then you have to find all the ingredients.
Right.
And,
right.
I have done this, though. I have. There's a Middle Eastern supermarket in West Springfield on Route 20.
Yep, I know where it is.
Near Sorrento's.
Yep, I know where it is.
And I had to go there because I needed curry leaves for a recipe. And I'm like,
Yeah, where do you get
Where do
curry
you get
leaves?
them?
I mean, you can get curry, but not ground curry, but yeah.
And I'm like, these are going to have to be so expensive. And you had to buy it by the bag. And it was like 20 cents for the bag.
Oh, wow.
Or, like this was
See,
a
I'm not a
couple years
curry
ago.
fan, though. But
West
did
Springfield
the...
actually has 2 of them.
They
There's one
do.
downtown,
Yes.
too, by the Majestic.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one that I was thinking about. But yeah, the other one is a little newer.
But, I made the whole recipe and then we're like, yeah, we don't like this, which is fine.
Yeah.
Live and learn.
Yep, exactly.
And it was actually the curry leaves that were
See, I'm
the
not
thing.
I'm not a big curry person.
They didn't taste at all like curry. I love curry.
Yeah, I
just,
don't.
It's
And
different.
the other thing about curry, in my opinion, a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
Like a long way.
Yep.
So if I have a recipe for it, I'm literally putting like a pinch in, and that'll do it. All right. Balanced, varied, and realistic food choices can support energy, performance, resilience, and overall well-being at every age. Everyone can benefit from consuming a variety of foods from all food groups. We're going to talk about those food groups when we get into those dietary guidelines. Doing so helps children and teens power their school day so they can grow and learn. By choosing balanced meals and rotating food choices throughout the week, adults power their day with energy and focus, and varying flavors and textures to ensure a wide range of nutrients powers healthy aging in older adults. So at every stage of life, good nutrition helps power our busy days. Stay nourished on any budget. So the power of nutrition isn't just about what's on your plate. It's about having the skills to prepare meals with what you have, knowing where to turn for support in your community, and advocating for systems that make healthy food accessible to all. When we build those skills and support systems, we help individuals and communities truly thrive and enjoy a healthy life. It's interesting. We run the Brown Bag Food Distribution Program. It's a monthly program. We've run it for as long as I've been at the Senior Center, for more than 20 years. And periodically, really every month, I think now, they send information for us with recipes, which I think is so helpful about how to use some of the items in the food bag. Sometimes they put stuff in there and we're going, I don't know, collard greens, the canned collard greens. It's like, what do you do with these? I've never made them before. I don't even know what to do. So they'll throw some recipes in, and then periodically, I don't know if they're still doing it because I don't run the program, but they used to periodically come and set up. They would bring snacks and little try things of things that are in the bag for that month, and then they would give you the recipe, and that was always a lot of fun. Like people love doing that,
because no one wants to have a big thing and open it and then find out that they don't like it.
Right.
Or they're afraid to open it because then they'll have to eat it.
Right. And I don't know what to do with this, or I don't know what to do with that. But so feel good with healthy habits. So feeling good with healthy habits isn't about perfection. Jen's talked a lot about that. It's about making small changes throughout your day that add up and can help improve your overall health. From practicing simple home food safety habits, such as washing your hands and surfaces, to taking time to plan ahead and reduce mealtime stress, which we've talked a lot about on this show. That's where you get into trouble, when you're not planning ahead. You're on your way home. Now it's already getting late. Everybody's already hungry by the time you get there. And now you're trying to figure out, well, what do I make? And it's going to be something fast and easy and generally not all that healthy. Including physical activity you enjoy, like dancing to your favorite music or a walk with friends. There are so many healthy habits that you can start adding to your day. So start small and see where your new healthy habits can take you. Great. Isn't this is like such a summary of what we talk about all the time.
I know.
All right, so that is a great segue into we're going to take our first break. If you're just joining me, my guest this morning is Jen Jafune. Jen is a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist, who's been serving the Westfield community for many years. I mean, you've been around for a long time.
I have.
Jen and I met initially 20 years ago when she was running the diabetes support group at then Noble Hospital. It wasn't Bay State Noble, it was just Noble Hospital. And she invited me to come and do a presentation on the Senior Center and our activities. And we've been working together ever since. And she's been on this show for it's almost 13 years, Jen.
No.
This June we'll be finishing our 13th year and starting our 14th. Yeah, so it's been, or 12, something like that, 11, something like that. We're at a dozen years at least.
Yep.
And Jen's been with us the whole time. So, and also Jen runs our diabetes dialogue support and education group, which meets on the last Tuesday of the month at the senior center.
Hard when they're not the same week.
I know this time they weren't the same week. It was right. Yeah.
No, they're not.
No, they're not because it's
I'm
next
doing
week.
the
That's right.
support
Next
group.
week is the support group. And I run 2 support groups now too, soon to be 3. So I'm getting so confused about the last, the first, the third,
Yep.
we're all over the map. But anyway, so last month, Jen started a discussion on the new federal dietary guidelines.
Yep.
There's a lot to it, so we're going to continue that. So let's take a break. We'll do Jen's song. This is Jen's special song. It's Sesame Street, Healthy Foods Rap by Cookie Monster. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching cable channel 15 WCPC. We'll be back in just a few.
Well, me known for eating cookie when me don't they shout hooky, trying to throw loyal fans a curve. What's he doing eating fish or vegetable dish? Man, he sure got lot of nerve. Well, me answer you straight when you're filling a plate, taking only cookies, all wrong. Cause you also got to eat fruit or veggies or meat if you wanna be healthy and strong. Yo, healthy food, boy, it tastes so good. Me one healthy dude, cause me eat healthy food. Me love it, boiled or stewed. Me love it, whole or chewed. You feel just great if you eat some healthy food. Me promise that when you eat varied menu, you get more out of every meal. You need balanced diet. Come on and try it, not believe how great you feel. Munch some carrots or beans or poultry and greens along with your chocolate chip. And banana or plum will make you go yum. Nutrition, it really hit. Girls, healthy food. Oh boy, it tastes so good. Be one healthy dude, cause we eat healthy food. We love it, boiled or stewed. We love it, whole or chewed. You feel just great if you eat some healthy food. Their broiled spring chicken, grape, ripe pork picking, and swordfish, tuna, and trout. And apple and cherry, and all kinds of berry, and broccoli, and Brussels sprout. Their lettuce, tomato, boiled new potato, their spinach, and celery, and beet. Milk and honey, and cheese, peanuts, peppers, and peas, pears, peaches, and cream of wheat. Word up, healthy food. Boy, it tastes so good. Me one healthy dude, cause we eat healthy food. Me love it, boiled or stewed. Me love it, whole or chewed. You feel just great if you eat some healthy food. Fry girls, healthy food. Boy, it tastes so good. Me one healthy dude, cause we eat healthy food. Me love it, boiled or stewed. Yeah, yeah, whole or chewed. You feel just great if you eat some healthy food. Here we go now. Ho, ho, ooh, ho,
Support for the community programming provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every 4th Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:24. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you're watching cable channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in the studio this morning with Jen Jaffoon. Jen is a registered dietitian and licensed nutritionist here in Westfield with a practice right over that lovely G&E building downtown on Elm Street, which is a great. That's got to be a historic building. That's just beautiful. Yeah, I would think. We'll find out. Oh yeah,
It would help if I had that.
Get your mic on. Yeah. But anyway, we are discussing the new federal what are they called? The nutrition
Dietary guidelines.
Dietary guidelines from the federal government. You know, the food pyramid that is now kind of upside down, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jen started this discussion last month. So Jen, I'm going to turn it over to you. I think you want to do a little bit of a recap and then get into some of the things that we hadn't had a chance to talk about.
Especially for people who didn't,
weren't
Tune listening in, last time. So every 5 years, for years now, the government has put out the National Dietary Guidelines.
Okay.
The purpose is to take the newest research and the old research that still holds true, put it together and make recommendations for the general public for use by professionals so that when an individual comes in to see the health professional, I can tailor what I tell you based somewhat on that, but also on your personal situation.
Of course.
But also all federal nutrition programs are based on this. So the school food program and WIC and, whatever programs get federal funding are based on
and that
these
does
guidelines.
include programs for older adults as well.
Yep.
Some of the home delivered meals and some of those programs.
So in the past, there was a Dietary Guidelines Advisory Board. This is independent group, not part of the government. They would review all the research, they would create a report, and they would turn it over to Health and Human Services and the USDA.
Okay.
And then based on that information, the new dietary guidelines come about. This year, for the first time, that process wasn't followed.
Okay.
So
I'm shocked.
Yes, they create,
Not following a process that we've been doing for a long time.
So what happened is the government created its own group called the Scientific Foundation. And there are a lot of problems with the Scientific Foundation, and I reviewed all of them, but two of the key things about it is, one, it's not transparent. So we don't know what they were basing their decisions on and what research they felt was appropriate or not appropriate. And it seemed as though there are a lot of narrative recommendations for what the Scientific Foundation supported, so not scientific studies.
Right. Yep.
But if, the advisory group made a recommendation, they needed reams of support scientifically for it. And the other part that I find very troubling is 7 out of 9 of this Scientific Foundation, they're directly linked to the beef, dairy, protein supplement.
They've got ties
Actually, it was all but I did a little research after the show last.
Oh, yeah.
Because I found it was only one that isn't on boards or commissions that are related to the food industry.
Wow.
It's only one member.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what the HHS and USDA did is they did take the advisory groups, the dietary advisory groups information, but used less than half of their recommendations.
Okay.
And the rest is based on this Scientific Foundation, which I just find so disturbing.
Right, because you really question how scientific is
Right.
it? And as my brother would say, who is a scientist, is it based on Aunt Jane's stories?
Right.
My brother was always like, show me that he's a chemist. It's like,
Right.
show me the data.
Right.
Or, because my mother would, tell a story about, so-and-so, well, she never smoked a cigarette and she had lung cancer. Mike's like, yeah, okay, and he would refer to that as the Aunt Jane story. Do those happen? Yes, but statistically it's insignificant because you've got all this other data over here.
So the dietary recommendations are supposed to cover, I'm not a math person.
Right.
I always tell people I'm not a mathlete, right? But I understand a bell curve.
Yes.
Right? And 97 point something % of the population falls within the biggest part.
Right.
And then there are always outliers.
Yes, of course.
And these dietary guidelines are supposed to help the majority.
The bell part.
The bell part. So they flipped the pyramid, which is fine. It's a great visual to change it and just turn it upside down. But some of the reasons they did it are difficult for me to make sense of.
Yep.
So protein is on the top of the chart. And it's not just protein, but it's high saturated fat protein as well. So red meat, beef tallow, like high protein intake, and the protein amount that's recommended for an individual is based on athletes, not on the general population. So it's a much higher protein recommendation. The other thing is, they kept some things, but then the information is contradictory. So an example is only 10. Well, we're going to get into the fat. I'll talk about the sodium. Keep the sodium low, 2,000 to 2,300 milligrams, which is what it was before. But then in the recommendations now, it'll say, eat these vegetables, but you can salt them. And, so that to me is contradictory.
Yeah.
And there are other contradictions that we're going to talk about about fat. There are some core recommendations that I support.
Okay, good.
Okay. Not having sugar-sweetened beverages, less processed foods.
Yep.
And, it's funny because it sounds like the dietary guidelines in the past must have said, eat all these processed foods, which isn't true.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So I have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
But I just, this push on protein, I'm hearing it now.
Yes.
All these patients are coming in and they're like, protein, protein, protein. Every single day I'm getting messages from patients saying, well, how do I bump up my protein, Jen? And I look at what they're having. I look at the calculations that I still stand by. They come out from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And if you go too high in protein and you have chronic disease, you can make that worse. It's going to affect your kidneys. It's going to impact your body weight if you take in an excessive amount of protein that you don't need.
Yeah.
It can increase your risk for all kinds of diseases. So, I'm constantly having to say, well, let's look at your individual case. And here are the numbers I calculated, and here's how to reach that goal. Really, I have very few athletes, like a true athlete. I look at my daughter and I look at, she's an athlete. She runs marathons. She climbs, she does rock climbing, not just in a gym, but
like out in
rock surfaces,
exactly.
and she is a waif who needs more protein because there can be muscle wasting with extreme athletics. But the rest of us, not so much.
Well, and I think we're seeing that too, Jen. I think part of what's fueling this is we're seeing, we're seeing a lot in advertising. Just go up and down the supermarket aisle. So now you've got cereal saying high protein, Cheerios. I'm not trying to pick on one thing or another, but places where you wouldn't normally see protein. You don't think of protein in a cold cereal.
Well, and the other thing is, I'm not going to say this is false advertising. I'm going to say this is advertising using what they've got. So in the past, it used to be no cholesterol peanut butter, right? Well, you don't get cholesterol in anything that comes from full plant products. So it's not lying. It really is no cholesterol, but it's not. It's.
So you just kind of want to go, duh.
Right. And now what I'm seeing is protein yogurt. Well, yogurt is made from dairy products, usually, or some soy-based ones. They all have protein.
Well,
they haven't changed it.
Right. That's my thing. It's like, well, it was already in there.
But you throw the word protein in,
and
now it's protein sandwiches from Subway. And protein this and protein that.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yep. And the guidelines, I know we talked about grains and
before we segue out, can you just can you give us like grams of protein? Like what's normal? What are they recommending now?
So I can give it to you this way.
And I know it's hard.
My guideline,
it's different for everybody.
I use a formula that's 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. That's what I calculate. What they're suggesting is 1.6 or higher. I think it's 1.6 to 2.0. I don't have it off the top of my head exactly, per kilogram. So they've doubled
double it.
Right. And
wow.
And we are not a protein deficient society.
Right.
If we were, even in the inner cities, protein deficiency is the pictures of the children with the big pregnant bellies and the stick arm and legs.
Yes.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
We
think of back in the day. We used to see the pictures from Biafra. That's, that's what you think.
Yes.
Yes. The extended belly and okay.
So we as a society, we don't have a problem getting in our protein. It's very simple.
All right. Okay.
The grains are on the pyramid.
Okay.
And we talked a bit about having whole grains, and that's important. We need it for our fuel, but there's this bizarre thing. I'm just going to find it in my notes. I actually looked more into it this morning because it's been bugging me.
Okay.
So
do tell.
What, I appreciate not having highly processed grain products. I appreciate limiting refined white flour products.
Yep.
I think that is great for people who need fiber. There is a segment of our population who can't tolerate that, but eat it anyway because it's healthy. And they're the people I see who have IBS or Crohn's or, things like that. So remember, bell curve doesn't include everybody.
Right.
But there are these guidelines that they came up with that I don't know where they came up with it. So the first is that no amount of added sugars or non-nutritive sweeteners are recommended or considered part of a healthy diet. One meal should contain no more than 10 grams of added sugars. So there's no study that says that. And the dietary guidelines about sugar, we talked about this last time. For a woman, it's about 25 grams or 6 teaspoons. For men, it's about 36 grams or 9 teaspoons. And this is women in general, men in general. If you get 10 grams at each meal, you've surpassed the woman's serving, and you're close to surpassing the men's. I don't know where that came from. And the other thing is, and this I didn't understand, the FDA healthy claim is that a grain snack should not exceed 5 grams of added sugar per 3/4 ounce whole grain equivalent. And then there's similar things for dairy and snacks.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know what a whole grain equivalent is. Like that, there's no explanation.
Yeah.
So
they haven't defined it.
So a whole grain equivalent, when you cursory look, is like a slice of bread or an ounce of bread.
Okay, yeah.
It's half a cup of cooked rice or pasta. It's a cup of flaked or round cereal.
Okay.
But that's really not what they mean. They mean a whole grain equivalent, which if you have an ounce of something, an ounce of whole grain bread, it needs 16 of those grams should be whole grain.
Okay.
But how do you know that? Like, it's not on the label listed that way.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Well, if you, like, on your bread label, now that I'm thinking about it, if they...
No, because 28 grams of an ounce of bread is its weight.
Right.
Not how many grams of that weight is
grain. Yeah.
I'm at a loss.
So, yeah.
So it's confusing to me.
Okay.
I support whole grains for the majority of the people.
Okay.
But these recommendations, mind-boggling to me. And
all right.
I do this all the time.
Right.
I've been in practice.
So you can imagine the rest of us going,
Yeah,
no.
I've been in practice 39 years. I mean, and I keep current.
Yeah.
This is mind-boggling to me.
I think you go to, I love your Jen DeFune's nutritional guidelines. That's what I have right here.
Yep.
And I think that's what you do. I mean, I think you go to, we know what to do. We've had this conversation a zillion times.
Right.
And we've also had the conversation of everything in moderation.
Correct.
A zillion times.
Yep. So I know you said you wanted to take a break, and then I thought we could do the saturated fat controversy.
Perfect. All right. So let's do that. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll do fats. We'll talk about fats and saturated fats. So you are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You're watching WCPC cable channel 15. So it is March is National Peanut Month. So we are going to listen to Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons singing Peanuts. We'll be back.
Peanuts. Peanuts.
let you go. Peanuts. 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 Yes, you're my girl. Love you and I'll never let you go. I love you, peanuts. Hold my heart and soul. You know I'm crazy about you, baby. Won't you call my name? Peanuts. 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 Yes, you're my girl. Love you and I'll never let you go. Peanuts. 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 Well, I love you, peanuts. Hold my heart and soul. You know crazy about you, baby, won't you call my name? Peanuts! 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 Yes, you're my girl. Love you and I'll never let you go. Love you and I'll never let you go. Peanuts! Peanuts!
Underwriting for community radio is provided by the YMCA of Greater Westfield. Every day, the YMCA strengthens the community through programs and services focused on youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. For all the Y's many programs and services, visit us on the web at www.westfieldymca.org. The YMCA, 67 Court Street in downtown Westfield. We're more than a gym. We're a cause.
Hi, this is Harry Rock, host of Rock on Westfield every fourth Wednesday at 8 a.m. Tune in for my view of this place I call home.
Community Radio.
107.5 FM WSFD. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 107.5 FM WSFD-LP Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:42. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial, and you are watching Cable Channel 15 WCPC. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and my guest this morning is Jen Jafune. Jen is here on the last Wednesday of the month for her Food for Thought segment. Jen is a registered dietitian and licensed nutritionist. We are celebrating Nutrition Month, and we're celebrating Peanut Month, and we're also diving into these new dietary guidelines that the federal government has put out. And Jen, I know you wanted to get into the fat section of this, sort of the saturated fats and healthy fats and all that good stuff.
Okay, so for many years we have heard that there's good fats and bad fats.
Right.
As a dietitian, we're not supposed to say good and bad foods, but
we get
just
it.
Calling a spade a spade.
Thank you.
So good fats include things that we're very familiar with: olive oil, avocados, peanut butter. They're all plant-based, and plant-based fats have been shown to help lower your blood cholesterol, which has shown to lower your risk of heart attack and stroke. But it's not just having a good fat when you're choosing to have a fat, it's how much you have. Because even if you have all good fats, if you have too much, they will work against you. And having too much fat can do things like make fatty liver worse, lead to heart attack and stroke, increased risk of many types of cancer. So we encourage heart-healthy fats, but again, like we always say, in moderation.
Everything in moderation.
Right. And then there are the bad fats, and the bad fats are saturated fat. Saturated fat is the type of fat that you almost exclusively is solid at room temperature. Okay. So if I took regular butter out, put it on my counter, unless it's like 95 degrees outside, when I come back in 2 hours, it's still going to be mostly solid. It is the marbling in meat. It's the chunk of fat on the side of the steak. It's the fat in the skin under the skin of the poultry, that kind of thing. So we want to really pay attention to limiting the saturated fat. Now, when someone comes to see me, I don't usually talk in what % of their diet should be saturated fat or how many grams of saturated fat. We talk about things like remove the skin on the poultry, cut off the visible fat, choose these lean meats. Most often have chicken, fish, and turkey, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Because that's practical.
Yep.
But I happen to understand the guidelines of how much to have. So the guideline last time and the time before in the dietary guidelines was keep your total saturated fat to 10% of your calories or less.
Okay.
And that is still what they say in the new guidelines, 10% or less of total calories. However, in the same breath, it's use beef tallow, which is the fat rendered from red meat, which is saturated, and have red meat and full-fat dairy and butter as top of the pyramid foods.
So have all of this.
Yeah, they do say have plant-based stuff too, but that's at the bottom of the paragraph, So what does this look like? Because 10% doesn't mean anything to people who don't understand this.
Yeah.
So first of all, the dietary guidelines are based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So I have so many problems with all this.
Okay.
Most people I see are not on a 2,000 calorie diet. So most adult men, especially seniors, 1,800 to 2,000.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say, are we high, low? Where are we here? Okay, all right.
If you're more athletic and you have a healthy body weight, you might be up around 2,200.
Okay.
Most adult women are about 1,500 calories a day.
Okay.
The very petite 4'9" woman who looks like a wind might blow her over, she might be down around 1,200.
Okay.
A very athletic woman or a taller woman might be up around 1,800.
Okay.
Athletes 2,000 or higher.
Okay.
All right. So if we're going to do 10% of saturated fat out of 2,000 calorie diet, what that means is 22 grams of fat. All right. So to put that in terms that make sense, I made up a fake day.
Okay.
All right. So 2 pieces of toast with butter and a cup of whole milk because we're encouraging whole milk dairy. Lunch, I'm having a sandwich, 4 ounces of roast beef and a cup of milk. I didn't include the accompaniments. I might throw veggies on the plate or have an apple because there's not really any fat in those. And then dinner.
But there would be if you threw chips on there.
Yes, there would be. But here I'm trying to be
healthy.
And
a lot of people do.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have an 8-ounce steak, and I'm going to have broccoli with a tablespoon of butter on it and a cup of whole milk. So there's my basic meals.
Mm-hmm.
So that adds up to 40 grams of saturated fat, where I said 22 is the 10%. If I were to eat this as a woman on a 1,500 calorie diet, it's 17 grams.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 2.5 times higher than I need to be.
Than it should be, yeah.
Yeah, and the recommendation is to have 3 servings of the dairy in a day, the whole fat dairy. It already surpasses.
Yeah, I think the problem with these guidelines, as I'm hearing it, well, there are a lot of problems. I have some problems too, but is that they're self-contradictory. I mean,
exactly.
On the one hand they're saying do this, on the other hand they're saying do this, but if you do this, you can't do that.
Right. They not only do they change the balance so that the bad stuff, they don't even each other out.
Right.
But the bad stuff leads to such worse issues.
Yeah.
So if you have a high saturated fat diet, a high saturated fat diet is linked to increasing risk of like a dozen cancers, common cancers, breast cancer for postmenopausal women, colorectal cancer, pancreatic cancer. I mean, these aren't like rare occurrence cancers. These are all the time.
Yeah.
definitely can add body weight. And when we add body weight, increased joint pains, increased risk of type 2 diabetes, control of blood sugar goes down the tubes, fatty liver increases, triglycerides go up. When you've got a lot of belly fat, it's just a mess.
Yeah, it's all the stuff that we've been saying. Be careful, don't do this, don't do that. It's almost like telling people what they want to hear. Sure, go ahead and and it's like, seriously, if you think you've got medical bills now, just wait.
Well, right, and think about like just our population in general. We already have an obesity and type 2 diabetes epidemic in our children.
Absolutely.
The next generation. Yep. And now, because these dietary guidelines are what the new school lunch programs are based on, we're going to be serving them burgers and whole fat milk, and our obesity problem with the next generation is going to just skyrocket. Yeah. It's so sad because, when I started in nutrition, doing diabetes, it was 1999-2000. So I just started at Noble. I had never heard of a child having type 2 diabetes. They didn't even study using like metformin on children because they didn't have type 2 diabetes. Right. Now it is so common. It's sad.
It is sad.
Okay, so moving along.
Okay.
There are a couple of things
got about 5 minutes.
I support.
Okay.
The less processed foods.
Yep.
The more you can home make foods, the better. And do I use store-bought stuff? Sure. Yeah. I'm never going to give up rice pilaf. I love rice pilaf, and I can't imitate that flavor packet. But, I can make my own broccoli chicken broth rice dish on another day. I make my own bread. Right now, it's like 100% of the time. But if I don't get around to it, like I've injured my finger, it's going to be hard to knead bread for the next few weeks. I'll buy bread, But the more you can make things, the better off you're going to be. Keeping the sodium low, I support that 100% for almost everybody. There are certain health conditions where you actually need high sodium, but that's an individual situation that I work with.
It's not on the bell of our bell curve.
It is
it's
not.
Out on these outlying areas.
I agree with limiting sugars, but I don't agree with the 10 grams at every meal. So it's, again, 6 teaspoons or 25 grams for women in general, and 9 teaspoons or 36 grams for men. So that doesn't break down to 10 grams a meal, plus that doesn't count snacks.
Right.
I am a fan of having protein, but chicken, fish, turkey, alternate plant-based proteins, I'm a big fan of those more often than anything else. And I still support keeping red meat to once a week. And portion counts.
Yeah.
And how you prepare it counts. No deep fried. Don't throw your beef tallow and stuff in your pan and cook up your steak.
Just like, I didn't even know what beef tallow was until you told us.
I had to look it up.
I'm like, what is that? What does that mean?
I'm sure it's all over the supermarket dairy case now. I have to go see it. I'm sorry, but I won't buy it. But I need to see it at least.
So they sell it separately?
Yeah, I believe they do now, where you would buy butter. And I'm a fan of lots of veggies, lots of whole, having more whole grains, having fruit. I still support low-fat dairy. I don't think anyone needs to do fat-free things, but I support low-fat.
Yep.
And that's where I am.
There we are. All right. So, a lot to take away here.
Yeah.
And now these guidelines will be considered again in 5 years.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see where we are in 5 years and where we decide to go in 5 years. And all right, I want to make a couple of announcements before we wrap up. I know I've got Harry Rock waiting in the wings with his guests already out there. I do want to announce, because these things are all going to happen before my show next week. So we are doing a home fit program on Monday, March 30th. And we actually ran this program before the pandemic. It's Dr. Alexis Morin from Western New England University will be here doing that. She is an assistant professor of occupational therapy. Last time we did it, we had Joan Simmons, Dr. Joan Simmons, who was also an occupational therapy professor at Springfield College doing Home Fit. This is actually sponsored by AARP, but those who participate in this, it's basically a kind of a workshop type thing. We'll learn about affordable house and apartment modifications that will keep you comfortable, independent, and injury-free living in your home. It's a great program. There's a lot of training that goes into this. I mean, it's not just because Dr. Morin is an occupational therapist. She actually had to go to training for the Home Fit training program. So that is going to occur on Monday, March 30th from 10 to 11 in the morning at the Senior Center. And we are asking people to sign up in advance just because I think we're still trying to figure out which room would be the best room to put them in. So we need to know how many people. We're not limiting the number. We just need to know ahead of time. Next Tuesday, we have two things that happen every month on the last Tuesday of the month. We have Bay State Hearing Aid Service will be at the Senior Center. That will be March 31st from 10 to noon. Jeff Halls is there. You do need to call the Senior Center to schedule an appointment to see Jeff. And then, of course, we have our Diabetes Dialogue Support and Education Group. The facilitator is Jen Jaffune, and they meet the last Tuesday of the month from 1:30 to 2:30. No signups for that one. You are welcome. You do not have to have diabetes to come to that group. You can be a family member. You could just be somebody who's interested in good nutrition and healthy eating.
Yep.
The topic this month is going to be the importance of fiber. I think we were supposed to do that a couple of months ago, and we had snow or something. Like something happened that we couldn't do it. So the importance of fiber, which we've talked about on this show. And then the other announcement that I want to remind, I said this at the beginning, but Carol Palmer and I are doing Ghost Talks Presents this year. Knox's Noble Train. This is going to be this Friday and Saturday evening. 4 performances, 6 and 7:30 on each night at the First Congregational Church, the big church here on right on the green. Tickets are $10. You can get your tickets at the Westfield Athenaeum, or you can purchase them at the door. And I was telling Pete and I were talking about it earlier. I love the script for this. It's all about the getting the cannons from Fort Ticonderoga down through Saratoga, Albany, the hill towns, Westfield, and out to Boston in the middle of the winter of 1775-76.
Wow.
Was not an easy feat. And it was General Knox who took that on at the request of George Washington. So it's really great. It's put on by the Historical Commission, and I am lucky enough to be part of that. So please come. It is 7:57. I smell smoke, so I don't know what is going on outside.
I smell something.
Yeah, I smell smoke. It smells like smoke from outside.
We
so.
believe there's brush burning going on in the area.
That's
thought
what
the
it.
school was on fire, but it's
yeah,
not.
that should really help. That should really help the cough, right?
Somebody burning brush in the neighborhood.
Yeah. All right. Harry Rock is up next with Rock on Westfield. My guess is that he's talking about the river races. Probably is my guess. You are listening to WSFD 107.5 FM on your dial. You're watching cable channel 15. So, Pete, let's go out with Coat of Many Colors by Dolly Parton. This is in honor of it's March's National Craft Month. So I thought we'll do the sewing piece. So we'll see you next week.
Back through the years, I go wandering once again. Back to the seasons of my youth. I recall a box of rags that someone gave us, and how my mama put the rags to use. There were rags of many colors, but every piece was small, and I didn't have a coat, and it was away down in the fall. Mama sewed the rags together, so in every piece with love she made my coat of many colors that I was so proud of. As she sewed, she told a story from the Bible she had read about a coat of many colors Joseph wore, and then she said, perhaps this coat will bring you good luck and happiness. And I just couldn't wait to wear it, and Mama blessed it with a kiss. My coat of many colors that my mama made for me, made only from rags mama made for me. So with patches on my breeches and holes in both my shoes, in my coat of many colors, I hurried off to school, just to find the others laughing and making fun of me. In my coat of many colors, my mama made for me. And oh, I couldn't understand it, for I felt I was rich, and I told them all the love my mama sewed in every stitch. And I told them all the story mama told me while she sewed, and how my coat of many colors was worth more than all their clothes. But they didn't understand it, and I tried to make them see that one is only poor only if they choose to be. Now I know we had no money, but I was rich as I could be. In my coat of many colors, my mama made